Welcome to the Never Too Early Fantasy Football Podcast, where it is never too early for fantasy football. My name is Jeff.
And I'm Alex.
As always, thank you for downloading, listening, liking, and commenting on our podcast videos. Please join our community by subscribing to us on the socials. Our handle on all platforms is at N2E Fantasy. We're also available on all major podcasting apps by searching N2 Fantasy. Alex, what do we have on today's show?
On this episode of the Never Too Early Fantasy Football Podcast, we are continuing our division previews for AFC and NFC both with the West on this episode. But first, we have some crazy league news here, Jeff. What do you want to start with?
Yeah, speaking of the West, we have a reunion in the Bay as wide receiver Deebo Samuel returns to the 49ers on a one-year deal, and we're going to get to why a little bit later.
Don't leave me hanging, but anyway.
Hey,
I think we got to do them. We probably have to talk about all of the 49ers stuff in just one group here. He came in because Ricky Pearsall is now out for the season.
Getting PCL surgery.
He's got some of the worst injury luck, and it looks like he's never getting started. PCL seems to be a lot worse than ACL as of for recovery time. So we're going to be looking at year 4 and see if he's actually anything good in 2027 coming off of a PCL injury. It's not good for dynasty holders, and for redraft, it makes it really difficult to want to take him even in 2027.
Yep, someone will take a flyer on him. I mean, obviously, it depends, because Evans, I think, only signed a one-year deal. Debo's on a one-year deal. He could be at the top of the depth chart next year, just based on the one-year deals that they pushed through. But PCL, it's pretty interesting, and he should be ready for the start of next season. I mean, if he's getting surgery now, it's got 13 months to get ready for the season, so
he's a 9-month recovery time or something like that.
He should be fully ready to go by camps next year. Mandatory mini camps.
Depends when the surgery is and if there's follow-up surgery and all of that stuff. But yeah, I am surprised that Deebo buried his beef with the 49ers to come back and sign, I think, like a $7 million deal. So surely he could have gotten better to go somewhere else, maybe. But he's well needed. They'll have Deebo now to complement Evans and Christian Kirk and Stribling, who they just drafted, who's been the talk of their camp. But Jordan James also got hurt. What happened to Jordan?
He's going to miss 8 weeks, I believe, unless I'm confusing an injury here. But not a big fan of the people with two first names. I have misspelled this one more times than I care to admit. But he has a rib fracture, and so he will be missing several weeks with a rib fracture. That's a pretty big deal, and they've brought in other running backs such as Khalil Herbert, Raheem Blackshear, like some retreads throughout the years here, where Christian McCaffrey is the primary back. We have Garendo that I believe he tore his pec working out in the offseason. And we have Kalen Black as the only other option here from a third-round pick in the draft. So we will see. But James was supposed to be one of these backs that we're supposed to take off this year, but we'll see how quickly he can get back from a rib injury. He's in jeopardy for week 1 for sure at this point.
I don't trust any 49ers running back they drafted. It's been a CMC show and no one else has been any good, so I don't really care for that.
And according to the injury report, Kalen Black has a thigh injury right now. So I don't know if that makes you feel any better or worse. But
I thought I saw Evans was having hamstring tightness, and I'm like, gosh.
Yep. Garendo pectoral, he's on the PUP right now. James with the ribs. Kalen Black with the thigh. Obviously, thigh probably is just a bruise, like a helmet bruise to the thigh, like probably not a broken bone.
Is Christian McCaffrey just sacrificing all of these guys to the electric substation? Is that what's happening?
If that's the case, he should be no lower than the third overall pick in this year's draft.
Right.
So if that's what he's doing, but
hopefully he shares it with Mike Evans.
Yep. Kalen Black has an adductor injury. It doesn't seem to be too serious, but James is out indefinitely with fractured ribs. But the injury report believes that he'll be ready well before week 1, but missing a practice time at this point is a pretty big deal. So, all right.
Well,
let's 49ers talk.
Yeah, let's move to some happier news. We have a wave of extensions to talk about, and the first one that broke was Mr. Chris Olave signed a 4-year extension with the Saints. So that will have Olave and their new first-round pick, Jordan Tyson, on the same team, being a 1-2 tandem for the next 4+ years. So
yeah, if Tyson gets his 5th-year option picked up,
that's true.
It could be 5 years if he. So I think it's a pretty big deal to lock up a wide receiver core like that and get your top 2 guys locked down like that. I think this is a very good sign for what the Saints think of Tyler Shough. I know what you think of Tyler Shough because you're probably going to draft him in every single dynasty draft that we have, but he's a 28-year-old year 2 quarterback, Brandon Weeden.
No, Brandon Weeden was already 29, I think, when he was drafted in the first round.
Tyler Shough is 27.
I think he's 7, yeah.
Yeah, 27 in September. My Lanta. That's pretty crazy. A year 2 quarterback, 27 years old. So he looked good last year. Give you that completely, but don't love that he's starting from this point in his career.
I'm pretty sure the Saints have a great chance at winning their division this year.
Yeah,
I think
we'll
Carolina
get to that.
Stinks.
They're the division champs.
Yeah, with a losing record.
Saints had a worse record.
Not much. I mean,
not much. But yeah. So 27-year-old Tyler Shough is entering his 2nd year in the NFL. We have a wide receiver with the Saints, Jalen Polk, who retires from the NFL at age 24. So 3 years younger than Tyler Shough.
Yeah, well, one is good and one is booty, Jeff. So which one do you think retired?
Hey, he went higher in the draft than Shough, I believe, right? 2nd-round pick, Jalen Polk?
They're both 2nd-round picks. Shough was pick number 40.
Okay, so they're roughly the same then. Samey.
Yeah, except one is a quarterback and one was a overdrafted wide receiver by an incompetent GM and head coach in New England.
Bill Belichick?
No, it was the 1 year of Mayo.
All right, let's get back to happier news now. Obviously, we're both a little excited about Polk. We can't be excited about him this year. But we can get excited about Zay Flowers, who signed a 4-year extension this week with the Baltimore Ravens. And I think we've determined that he's going to be with them for the next 6 seasons, or at least is under contract with them for the next 6 seasons, bringing him to age 31.
I'm glad for him that he got paid. As a football fan, I don't understand how he's getting paid $35 million a year because I don't think that he's a wide receiver 1 in real NFL talent, but he's the best that the Ravens have, and they've been terrible at drafting wide receivers. I don't get it. I wouldn't have paid him if he was asking that much. I would have traded him, but whatever.
I mean,
I'm not
he's
running
still
the Ravens.
He's still making less than London and Chase, and he didn't reset the market.
Isn't he like the fifth highest paid wide receiver right now?
Right now, no, because he's still in his rookie deal. So that is some of the crux of the issue here. But his new contract, his new money, I believe, will be in the top 5 of receivers. But he's only scheduled to make $31 million over the next 2 seasons. So I think the 35 per year is like a make good on the cheapness that he's going to be this year. Only $4 million and $27 million next year.
I think he's better off being the team's number 2 wide receiver. I don't see him as the true number 1.
No, I completely agree with you. And I mean, he could end up being the number 2 with their 2 rookie wide receivers, and I believe one of them is actually taken off. So, and it's not the one that we thought.
Yeah,
Jacoby Lane.
Yeah, he's had a big camp and was labeled their star of the offseason so far. I still think Sarah is a better wide receiver, but we will see how that shakes out. I can't imagine them keeping, was it Rashad?
Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, Rashad Bateman.
Yep. So I added it all together here, and I don't know if this makes it any more digestible for you, but Flowers basically is making $28.6 million over the next 6 seasons. So when you factor in all of his salaries.
That's more than Nico Collins, and Nico Collins is a significantly better wide receiver. I don't like it. And it's, what, $13 million per year more than what, well, at least the extension part, than what Bijan Robinson just got with the Falcons. He's getting $23 million a year in his new extension added on to his rookie deal.
Yep.
And I can't imagine a universe where I would pay Flowers $35 million a year on his new money and Bijan $22 million when Bijan is a significantly better player and someone I'd rather have on my team over Flowers. So this wide receiver price check in the NFL is out of control. It's out of control.
Yeah, they like to give receivers a second contract, and not every running back is guaranteed a second contract. You do say it like that, but it's not like the Ravens had a choice between Bijan and Flowers paying them. Like, they could only pay one of the 2 players. They didn't have the option to pay Bijan.
Well, they should give Derrick Henry $15 million more dollars.
Yep.
Derrick Henry should make more money than Flowers on a per year basis.
Yep. But they don't do that with running backs, and I don't know if you remember, but like, I think Jonathan Taylor was the one that held out to get the deal to try to reset the market, and they were kind of like, nah, we're not gonna start paying running backs more than $16 million a year or whatever it was at the time. But Bijan pushed it to 22 to 25 million per season. So,
well, we have Jonathan Taylor, and we have Jahmyr Gibbs, and we have the real HN, who are all coming up on their deals soon. So, do you think any of them will surpass Bijan, or do you think Bijan is the top and everyone else is below him?
What was that list? I believe HN already signed a new deal with the
HN already did his new deal.
Yeah, so that's already done and over with. He signed a 4-year, $64 million deal. So he is significantly less than Bijan.
I'd be annoyed if I was.
Me too. He makes 16 a year. At one point, that was almost the top of the market. Barkley and I think Christian McCaffrey make more than that. Maybe Derrick Henry, but the market has not been kind to anyone at the running back position, and it was kind of nice to see the Falcons just say, all right, we're gonna pay you. So Bijan is the highest paid, Barkley is the second, Christian McCaffrey is third, and Achane is the 4th highest annual value. Derrick Henry is 4th with 15 million. So
I think Gibbs is either going to be more or the exact same as
Yeah, it'll probably be 23 per year, so he'll be looking at just slightly higher.
Jonathan Taylor probably just below Bijan, I would think.
Yeah, I'm thinking like 18 for him because he's older now too. He's already number 8 on the list, making 14 per. So it's not like he can't make a step up, but he's entering his age 27 season. So I don't know how long they'll want to pay him for. Maybe 2 seasons.
So
He's got a lot of wear.
I would say maybe to his age 30 season.
Yeah, I mean he's close to the elite bucket, and I believe the elite bucket can perform till probably 32.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Henry and Christian McCaffrey, even Bijan probably can perform to 32. So I think he will get one more crack at the free agent Apple. So I don't know if he'll reset the market again at the age 28, 29, but we'll see. We'll see.
Let's wrap up the news segment here. Chris Brazzell, the wide receiver from Tennessee that was drafted by the Panthers, towards LCL and is gonna miss this season. Bummer for your Panthers there. And tight end John Michael Gillenberg got a knee injury.
Yep.
Not
On
really high on
IR.
my list, but
I thought he was overrated. I watched him in the Senior Bowl. I watched him in the Combine. I was not impressed with either
yeah.
of those. So
Yeah, Brazel I think was vastly overhyped, especially in like rookie drafts.
I think he won't move the needle at all by missing the season. In fact, he's going to open up opportunities for Jimmy Horn Jr. and for David Moore, who I don't like David Moore, but I know the coaching staff likes him. Xavier Legette's also injured, but it doesn't sound like he'll miss a ton of time. I think just a stinger. So nothing but injuries in camp. A lot of hamstrings, a lot of soft tissue.
Yeah, I've learned my lesson on Tennessee wide receivers from Hyatt and Tillman. I would never touch another one. And Brazel
You have a type.
is not it.
No, I hear that. We'll see. We'll see. But Ted's been looking really good at camp, so hopefully he stays healthy and they continue that path. All right. Are you ready for the best in the West or the West side?
Keep workshopping it. Keep workshopping it.
West side?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go ahead and get the party started on the West side.
Oh, look at that! You got some music to play for us with a drop. Parties here on the West side.
Yep. All right, let's start with the AFC West. Your division winners from last year, the Denver Broncos. I went 12-5 on my last projections, and you went 10-7. Vegas over and under, Jeff, is 9.5, which I think is insanely low. But I think they think this division is going to be more competitive, is what I'm taking out of it.
I think they went 11-1 in one-score games last year, and historically that pendulum swings back, so they're expecting it to swing back this year.
Well, I think the Broncos got better, so I don't think that they'll have only 9 wins, so I'm still going over.
Yeah, I mean, I am too, because I'm at 10, so clearly I'm over, but not by much.
Yeah.
I'm Vegas here. But for the team, we have Bo Nix starting at quarterback. We have RJ Harvey, J.K. Dobbins, and Jonah Coleman leading up the running back room. It'll be interesting to see who leads the running back room in snaps and stats. So that'll be something that I'll be paying attention to this year because I don't think there is a clear starter in this bunch. I don't think there's a clear bell cow that's going to get the majority of the snaps early on in the season. So this could be a 3-team committee.
J.K. Dobbins is the lead back. He's the bell cow until he hurts himself. And then Jonah Coleman will take over that role. Meanwhile, R.J. Harvey's the Alvin Kamara
light.
So
he's never going to produce the fantasy numbers.
Yes, he's Alvin Kamara when Mark Ingram was still there or so. whatever running back was still the nominal starter. So
And then,
they
yeah, go ahead.
they like multiple backs in this system. So
Not going to be fun.
no one's gonna be an RB1. Everyone's gonna be probably a flex unless multiple of them get hurt.
Yep. And I got Coleman as the third option right now, but as you mentioned, J.K. Dobbins has an injury history. Could they be more conservative with how they roll him out to try to protect him this year? Possibility with Coleman on the roster now. But speaking of on the roster now, they have a new wide receiver one in Jalen Waddle. They also have returning Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin, and Pat Bryant. Pat Bryant was really hard for me in one of our dynasty leagues because I wanted to cut him, but he did just enough in year one where I was like, he's on a cheap deal. If he caught lightning in a bottle, could he be their three? And yes, he could be their three. But and then to round out their pass catchers, you have Evan Ingram returning, and then they also drafted a Justin Jolly. So I think that he's going to replace Ingram in the next season and a half. But Ingram is still there right now.
I think you have Franklin and Bryant in the wrong positions. I think Bryant will be wide receiver 3 and will finish with more stats.
I hope so.
Franklin loses his job to Jalen Waddle, and I believe they still have Mims. And in my opinion, Mims is better than Franklin. And as disgusting as it is, it's almost like taking your broccoli. Evan Ingram had 700 yards last year and decent stats in the tight end position. It's hard for me to envision him being tight end 29. I think he's probably a high tight end 2 at the least. It's not necessarily that I would feel great about having him as my starting tight end, but I mean, he has a good track record of late of at least performing at a decent startable level.
Yeah, I think a lot of that, though, is going to hinge on the offensive coordinator here because obviously we have the switch from Peyton to Webb. Peyton was historically about the screen game, and that benefited Evan Ingram to a T. So, and if the Broncos sign Taysom Hill, which has been discussed this week, that could
I was just
change a
about to
lot of
say,
things.
yeah. Oh my gosh, Taysom
Yep.
Hill, the stat sapper.
Yep. He would render everyone outside of Waddle and Sutton for pass catchers obsolete.
He would take away from Bo Nix. He would take away from the running backs. He would take away from the tight ends.
Yep. And man, I would love to see what you do to your projections if he signs. Love to see that exercise.
He just needs to retire. He's made enough money.
He's been overpaid, paid as a quarterback for a bit because they thought he
Yeah.
was going to be their quarterback. So.
All right, let's move on to a different team because Taysom Hill is disgusting. So let's move on to something else. Let's move on to the Kansas City Chiefs. Whew, they did a little bit of a retool here and not quite as dominant as they were 4 or 5 years ago, but they might bounce back. I have them at a 9-8 record at this point. I know we'll do updated projections closer to the start of the season, which we're coming up on. And you have them at an 11-6 record. Vegas has them at a 10.5 record.
Call me Vegas.
Over and under. So it's somewhat between us. It leans towards your side. I don't believe that for a second right now.
I mean,
You're what?
Patrick Mahomes.
Who's he throwing the ball to?
He's throwing the ball to Cyrus Allen, who has been lighting up camp.
He's one who I hyped up after seeing some of his route running.
Camp
Pre-training,
or
just get ready. It was
before the
kind of like
draft?
no, before camp, but after the draft. He had his Chiefs stuff, but it wasn't like an official practice. Because I wasn't really that familiar with him. And now I think he might be the best wide receiver on the team.
Could be.
It's hard to know because Xavier Worthy just hurt his shoulder again, but it's just a bang up. He'll be okay. Rashee Rice, I can't trust him to stay out of trouble. And I don't think Rashee Rice is actually like a wide receiver. He's more like a running back that you throw the ball to down the field.
Also called a wide receiver.
No, he doesn't run. He doesn't run routes very well at all. Like everything is his yards after the catch ability. That's why I say like he's like a running back that you throw down the field. He doesn't do a lot of the receiver stuff well, but he's pretty athletic and shifty once he gets the ball in his hand.
Yep. But we have Patrick Mahomes leading the charge for the team, coming back from his ACL tear. Should be ready week 1, which is kind of a very quick turnaround, and he did it because he put in the hard work. Then at running back, you have their newly signed running back, brand new, Kenneth Walker. Also brand new drafted Emmett Johnson, who's actually been catching some balls in camp from Patrick Mahomes. So I do anticipate them using 2 backs. I do anticipate maybe a 65-35 split to begin the season with Walker and Johnson. But Walker has never been a 70-80% snap guy, except for the Super Bowl, where he did win the MVP. But every week, if he has to do that, he's an injury concern and an injury risk. And then rounding out the running backs, we have Rashad Smith here. So what do you think of their running back room and their quarterback?
No mention of DeMarcado.
Oh my God. He's dead to me after last year.
There's a lot of sites that are projecting him to be the RB2.
We'll see.
I
We'll
don't
see.
think so. I agree with you that Emmett Johnson should be the RB2.
He single-handedly cost the Cardinals any hope of a season last year. If he didn't fumble at the one, they're 3-1 after 4 weeks, and that they were 2-2, and they had lost all momentum when the coach yelled at him and had to apologize for that. And if he does not fumble, none of that happens.
Didn't he hit him too?
And the shoulder pad, I understand it's a striking, but I'm pretty sure it probably hurt the coach more than the player.
It's not about that. It's about
composure,
controlling your own emotions, and being a leader.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but I'm also have to laugh because the coach probably is like, my hand hurts from that.
Well, it was like back in the day when there was a coach that would headbutt a player wearing a helmet and get
Baker does
blood
that.
all over. Yeah.
Baker.
I think the Chiefs will bounce back. I don't know if I trust them yet to actually have a playoff caliber season.
We'll see. We will see. But we did do a exercise last year where if we flipped all the 1-score games, the Chiefs were like 14-3 or something like that. So the Broncos and the Chiefs could flip-flop here with their 1-score games, and that is all the difference in the world. But receiver-wise, you have Rice, Worthy. I think Allen could replace Thornton here, but I do like Tyquan Thornton. And then you have Travis Kelce and Noah Gray at tight end. So I'll let you say what you were going to say on the Chiefs, and then what do you think of their pass catchers?
I don't think the Chiefs are. I think the Chiefs are the third most likely team to win the division.
After the Raiders?
No, not this year.
You want the Raiders to be good. I know you do.
I thought the Raiders were potentially going to trade for Olave, and the Saints ruined that. So
I didn't hear any of that, but never know.
The thought was because Kubiak was the Saints coordinator a couple years ago, or 2 years ago now, because Seattle last year and the Saints before that he would bring Olave over to be wide receiver 1, which would make a lot of sense. But
they would have had to trade for him, though.
I don't think the Raiders are quite there yet, but they are significantly better than last. Their defense is loaded now because they accidentally had to keep Max Crosby because the Ravens GM is a snake and not a man of his word. But no, I used to hate the Raiders with a passion. They were one of the teams I just did not like no matter what, and it's just they get pooped on now too much, and I actually think that they've got some decent players. But anyway,
because you fell in love with Ashton Genty. Because Ashton Genty was the prettiest girl in the room.
Ashton Genty is the best dancer in the room.
I just say love.
But with the Raiders coming up here, they are due for an improvement on last year. And I have them at a 6-11 record. You have them at a 4-13 record. Vegas was actually split on them out of the four main sports bets. Two of them were 5.5, and two of them were 6.5. So I split that straight down the middle, and you were under on both of them.
Yep.
Do you still want to stick to the under?
I mean, as of my May projections, yeah, I want to take a look at what September has. But if you look at their weapon tree outside of Brock Bowers, I just don't know what Kirk Cousins is going to deal with all year. Because Kirk Cousins is going to start the year at quarterback with Fernando Mendoza looming. Do love the tandem at running back, though, with Genty and Washington Jr., so I think that
You
could be
mean
more.
Darren McFadden Jr.?
Yep.
Have you seen all the posts that are comparing his height and speed and college profile to Darren McFadden? And they both played at Arkansas. Both same height, both same speed.
It's possible, but you wouldn't want that.
Oh, if it's a 1-2 punch, who cares? You know, if they're letting it loose.
What is this? Jonathan Taylor and Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams?
Always with the Panthers reference for you, isn't it?
I think aren't those the only two backs in NFL history to get 1,000 yards in the same season on the same team?
Would Gibbs get 1,000 yards his rookie year? Because Montgomery did.
I don't think so.
Maybe. I want to say Peyton Hillis and somebody did too, but I'm not sure.
Peyton Hillis was on the dang Madden cover.
Mm-hmm.
You ready for? There was 5 tandems in NFL history that have hit this mark. Only 2 since 1980. Since I was born in 1985. So you have Larry
Reggie Bush and
Zonka.
Mark Ingram.
No, we have Larry Zonka and Mercury Morris from the Dolphins in 1972 in their perfect season. We have Franco Harris and Rocky Belier for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1976. We have Kevin Mack and Ernest Biner for the Cleveland Browns in 1985. And finally, we have D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart in 2009, both over 1,100 rushing yards. The other duo that you're thinking of that you cannot think of off the top of your
Just tell
brain
me
right
the
now.
year. What's the year?
2008.
2008. I'm gonna have to use another lifeline. What conference?
NFC. You're not going to guess this in 100 years, so.
I need another lifeline. What division?
East.
NFC East. 2008.
When you Rain Man over there?
Is it Cowboys? Is
Nope.
it what's Giants? It
is.
Ahmad Bradshaw, Brandon Jacobs.
Brandon Jacobs and Derek Ward.
Ward. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have guessed Ward.
Nope. And then there's 2 quarterback running back duos do 1,000 in a season. Work done and Michael Vick in 2006 and 2019. Mark Ingram and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I would not have remembered Ward.
I know. That's why I was like, you're done. Like, there was no shot at that one.
I got one of the running backs after using multiple lifelines.
You did. Bradshaw, though. I don't even know. Did Bradshaw and Jacobs play together?
Oh, yeah.
See, I know who played on what teams, but I just don't know what they overlap anymore. Like, because I've watched football for so long.
Yeah.
Obviously, I remember Reggie Bush and Mark Ingram and
Pierre Thomas and
was there Reggie Bush? Was there Reggie Bush and like Willis McGahee? Not McGahee. Who was Ricky Williams? Wasn't there a Reggie Bush and Ricky Williams year in Miami?
Dude.
That wasn't the Wildcat year?
No. Maybe there was Ricky Williams and Ronnie Brown.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a innovative offense. But I digress. And we're not going to see any Wildcat with Genty and Mike Washington unless Kirk Cousins goes out and shows his age and Mendoza really isn't ready. Then maybe there will be some Wildcat formation. But wide receiver wise, you're looking at kind of some bare bones here in the Raiders with Trey Tucker, and Jalen Naylor and Jack Batch and Dante Thornton Jr. Hopefully one of these guys takes a step forward. I know Tucker is still young. I know Batch and Thornton are on their second year, and Naylor's just looking for a team and an opportunity. So if one of them can take a step forward here, it would do a lot to solidify them as the number 2 receiver going forward, because they'll be in the market for a 1 very shortly.
Yeah, well, they paid Naylor. Trey Tucker is the one that looked the best last year, and Jack Batch is a really good prospect that didn't fit whatever the heck the Raiders were doing last year. So hopefully Betch works in the new offensive system with Kubiak calling the shots. Brock Bowers is going to be utilized heavily, and I think Michael Mayer will be better utilized as the tight end too as well. I just don't know how much that means, but let's keep it moving here, Jeff. We have to round out that division, we have the Los Angeles Chargers. Both of us picked a 10-7 record, and Vegas's over and under was 10.5. So all 3 alignments here. They have Justin Herbert, who's your quarterback 10. I think he's my quarterback 6, if I remember correctly. Marion Hampton, your running back 11. Keaton Mitchell, Kamani Vidal round out the running back group here. I think all of them are going to be used in a rotation. Hampton obviously is going to be the majority in that committee, and Keaton Mitchell is going to be a change of pace back. Ladd, McConkey, Quentin Johnston, Trey Harris, and Brennan Thompson are the young wide receiver core that they have to work with, that they get maximized with the new coaching change with Mike McDaniel over there in Los Angeles. Yes, he likes to run, but he finally gets a quarterback that can throw downfield and see the field, and Justin Herbert. So I expect the whole offense to open up, and unlike his team last year, Miami being the 32nd team in plays run, I expect the Chargers to have more plays called this year than Miami did last year. They also are pretty stacked at tight end as well, with Arande Gadsden, the young guy from last season, and they brought in veteran David Njoku and Charlie Kohler as well. So they're 3 deep at tight end, and I think that Kohler is also a good blocking tight end, so that helps compensate if they have line injuries, which I think their left tackle got hurt, and we don't know how bad yet.
Wait, already? What? Again?
Yep. We don't know if it's bad or not. We just know that he got hurt.
Okay.
Slater?
Yeah. He was supposed to be fine, but wow. Okay.
But we can't keep making excuses for Herbert. So
I mean, the players that they've drafted to be around him that aren't around him, like, I feel like that'll always be looming. We need Slater to be healthy this year. We need everyone to be healthy.
I know, but for whatever reason, people cut Herbert more slack than they do other guys. Like I can say, but the Texans haven't really signed a good offensive coordinator. Their O-line has been iffy. Tank Dell got hurt multiple times. Stephon Diggs got hurt when he was there. Nico Collins keeps getting injuries. It's not on Stroud. It's everybody else has to be perfect around him. Like, why do we do this for Herbert? Herbert I think he's good, but why do we grade him at a different scale than other people?
Well, first of all, he's had 5 offensive coordinators in his 6 years. So, I mean, that's a pretty big deal. And of his coordinators, we have Shane Steichen and Kellen Moore that are NFL head coaches. So that does say something. And I wouldn't say Steichen is safe. So did Herbert get him his job? It's possible after his rookie season. But I think Herbert's start contributed a lot to the slack that Justin Herbert gets, because he was thrown in last second with a Tyrod Taylor lung injury on his very first start against the Kansas City Chiefs, and they were in the middle of their dynasty at that point. So I think that when you make a good first impression, it's really hard to get that out of your thought process. The same thing is true if you make a bad first impression. Like, you're gonna always have that on somebody. Like, think about your Anthony Richardsons of the world. Like, bad first impressions, and he's may never overcome that.
Yeah.
And he might
I
be
mean, I like
talented.
him. I
Yeah.
like him, but even if his line gets decimated, I'm like, okay, well, you dealt with that last year. You need to compensate.
Yeah, he's one of the most talented quarterbacks rushing and passing wise in the NFL. So he's right up there with Allen, in my opinion. He just hasn't been able to put the team on his back just yet. Had some terrible head coaching until Jim Harbaugh came in. And really hate that Jim Harbaugh for the first 2 seasons there had Greg Roman as the offensive coordinator. He feels like a guy that just can't evolve. And I believe now he's with John Harbaugh
Yep.
in the Giants. So I feel like the Giants are going to stink. I mean, like they have a ceiling because of Greg Roman.
Yeah, well, he's a great starting off point, like a
Yeah.
baseline point to get, basic concepts in and get you to a certain level, but then you have to bring in a better coach later. So I get that.
If he
But
was good, he would be a head coach.
yeah, all right. Well, let's move on to the NFC side. So we'll do the NFC West now, which has, three good teams and one stinker. And let's do the stinker, get that out of the way first. We have the Arizona Cardinals, who currently I have with 1 win, so 1-16, and you have a 3-14 record.
Yeah. You would agree 1 win's a little bit light.
Yeah, I'll update it at some point. Like, as we get close, I know we're due another projection, but Vegas has a 3.5 win over and under.
Still going the under.
So we are both under, very, very under. I probably would do 2 wins, maybe, but
Go find it.
they're rolling with quarterback Jacoby Brissett. Running back, they might actually be doing a committee rather than sticking to the third overall pick, Jeremiah Love. They also signed Tyler Algier for decent money before drafting Jeremiah Love, and they still have James Conner and Trey Benson, which they might
Yep.
not have either of those two for long, honestly. They
I think they
have,
only part with one, but they have Zonovan Knight too, right?
yep, bam.
Bam.
Yeah. Wide receiver, they have Marvin Harrison Jr., former top 5 draft pick for them. They have Michael Wilson, who broke out last year when people got hurt. They brought in Kendrick Bourne. They drafted Reggie Virgil, who I think is a little bit underrated coming out of Texas Tech. Trey McBride, top 2 tight end receiving wise in the league, and Tip Ryman rounds out the tight ends here. They've got a decent amount of skill position talent, but they're limited by quarterback. I think the O-line's incomplete, and defense is on the upswing talent-wise, but I don't think they're quite there yet either. New head coach, and they are in a division where the other 3 teams are better than them. So it's not looking good for 2026 for the Cardinals, but that might work out for them, and they might be able to be the first overall pick in the draft and take a quarterback.
Yeah, the other 3 teams have been in the Super Bowl the last 5 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. So I know it was the 49ers and the Chiefs, and I know it was the Rams won it at home, and I know Seattle won it last year. So,
Yep.
but I will say that Beck will get starts this season. Just a matter of when.
Carson Beck.
Yep.
Yep.
He's getting the Hall of Fame game. So the very first game is upcoming.
They also have Minshew. I think I gave stats to Minshew as well.
I love
Not
me some
much.
Minshew.
Yeah, but I
Minshew
did.
mania, but it ain't running wild in Arizona. I can tell you that.
Alright. Let's move on to the next team here, and that is the Los Angeles Rams. I gave them a 13-4 record. You gave them a 12-5 record. Vegas over and under is 11.5. So we are
We are
both
over.
over. Not sure why they're 11.5, but since they have Matthew Stafford, who was the MVP last year, Kyron Williams and Blake Corum both, who were a really good tandem 1-2 running back. Jarquez Hunter, who is a decent reserve back for them. They drafted him, I think, as a day
Distant
2
third.
pick a couple years ago. So they like to work in their running backs 2 or 3 years into the system because it's a very difficult system to learn. Puka Nakua, who may or may not be suspended for a couple games based off of off-field behavior where he bit a lady, and there's a picture of the bite marks. It looks pretty rough. Devonta Adams, who had a bunch of touchdowns last year in the red zone, and they almost replaced for AJ Brown.
They did. They tried. They tried.
But he's
No
still
depth.
good.
No depth at wide receiver, though, after that.
Well, that's because they have 5 tight ends, Jeff. They have Colby Parkinson, Terrence Ferguson. What is
Tyler Higbee.
who's the guy they just drafted?
They have Tyler Higbee. They have
Klein?
the
Marvin Klein?
Yep, Marvin Klein, and that's all I have on the list because I got rid of the other guy. But I know that they have one
You
other.
got rid of the 5th guy?
Yep.
Yeah, so they're going tight end heavy formations this year for sure.
Someone I know I've heard it, and it made a lot of sense, but teams are doing more tight ends because they're cheaper than wide receivers, and that's where they're getting the statistical financial advantage by paying more tight ends.
Well,
But they have
I don't think
Davis Allen
I don't think
as
that's
well.
it. I don't think it's a financial thing. I think that is an ancillary benefit. I think it's because you can disguise run pass better. I think it's because you get an extra blocker to help your run game. It's a way to counter the too high safety defense because now you're doing short and intermediary passing or doing a run instead of trying to burn someone down the field because they won't let you with 2 safeties up there. So I think it's just shifting the game. I don't necessarily think it's to offset the wide receiver salaries.
We'll see. We will see. But Colby Parkinson was one of the better receiving tight ends down the stretch last year. So he's a name to watch out for. And Stafford will throw his fair share of balls this year. So,
All right. Let's move on to the San Francisco 49ers, who probably should be called the Chargers with their electrical substation there. We both went for an 11-6 record, and the Vegas over and under is 10.5.
boom, boom.
Brock Purdy is your quarterback 6 after years of you poo-pooing on Brock Purdy and saying he wasn't worth his paycheck. You have him very high for fantasy. Christian McCaffrey, your RB4. Jordan James, whose ranking probably will be updated shortly. Kalen Black. Mike Evans at wide receiver. Deebo Samuel now at wide receiver. Christian Kirk at wide receiver. Demarcus Robinson at wide receiver, Deshaun Stribling at wide receiver, still Brandon Ayuk at wide receiver, technically. George Kittle at tight end, Jake Tongs at tight end. It's a really good roster when healthy. I don't know how many of these guys survive with all the injuries that keep popping up for San Francisco, but they should be a very good team. They're always competitive. We didn't talk about it, but Kyle Shanahan got in a car accident. We don't know how bad he is.
It was bad.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's going to affect his year at all or not, but
It's going to affect his camp, at least.
yeah,
Installing things.
he's one of the better offensive play callers in the league still. He offsets how terrible their drafts have been since John Lynch took over the GM job. So, that said, I mean, bringing Mike Evans in this offseason is pretty incredible, and I think that will help turn things around as long as he's healthy.
Yeah, I just don't know where they're finding all this cash to pay all these players, pay their quarterback. So they're doing some really good maneuvering of the cap. So
They just got a bunch back because Brandon Ayuk's too dumb to show up to camp.
that was my biggest complaint about signing Purdy is you're gonna have to start letting people go, and then Brandon Ayuk's like, here's a whole boatload of cash back, so here you go. Ay. Like you can't make that stuff up. But
Yeah.
I still think Purdy holds them back. He's not a big game quarterback. And I think he's a fantasy starter though. So I think two things can be true at the same time where he's not a Super Bowl winning quarterback and he's also a fantasy one QB.
Yeah. I think George Kittle comes back pretty close to week 1 from his injury stuff, so I am still full go on him.
You got him at tight end 3 like me?
Yeah, I think so.
No, you don't. I think you were at like 6 or 7.
No, I think I'm top 5 on him.
Or did you edge him up a little bit? Because you have Warren, you have Loveland, and I thought you had one other rookie from last year over him.
I don't have it in front of me, but I think I have Kittle at 5 or 6, one of those two spots.
Kittle at 6. Great. Anything else on the 49ers? Hopefully they can stay healthy enough to make it competitive.
Yeah, let's wrap it up here with the Seattle Seahawks, the Super Bowl champions. I have an 11-6 record. You have a 12-5 record. Vegas over and under is 10.5. So we're both over. I am closer on this one. You have Sam Darnold at quarterback 23. Zach Charbonnet, you have higher than Price, which is interesting. And Emmanuel Wilson at running back 3, although I think running back 3 is probably the fullback, Kaloni. And we have the reigning offensive player of the year, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Cooper Kupp also at wide receiver with Njigba. Rashid Shaheed, who just got paid this offseason, is the third wide receiver. And Torrey Holton, wide receiver 4, who's now a sophomore. He dealt with injury last year, should be healthy.
Broke his shin.
Tight end, they have AJ Barner. Huh?
He broke his shin last year. Like, that's more than just a oopsie injury. Bone like shattered on him.
He cracked it. He didn't shatter it. Okay. AJ Barner and Elijah Arroyo at tight end. Barner is more of the eat your vegetables guy, and Arroyo's more of the dessert kind of guy when it comes to the tight end position, because Arroyo's flashier, a better receiver, seems like he would be a better weapon, but for some reason isn't. And Barner is just the gritty tight end that does the dirty work and is put into the tight end 1 role for the team.
Yeah, and I think if we made a list, which we haven't yet, of tight ends that could finish as a tight end 1 that's not ranked as a tight end 1, I think AJ Barner would be one of those.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not big on him.
He has the right attitude. I don't remember the quote now, but there was something he said this offseason that was like, whoa, he gets it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't think that they make it to the Super Bowl this year. I think their division rivals, the Rams, probably do. Seahawks are due for a regression, in my opinion. Lost their OC and lost their running back, their Super Bowl MVP, I think, in Walker, and their defense got torn up. So I expect regression, but they're still a good team. And that wraps up our West divisions. So that does it for this episode of the Never Too Early Fantasy Football Podcast. Thank you all for downloading or listening to this episode. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. Please leave us a comment and share the show. Every little bit helps.
You can find us on all podcasting apps by searching N2E Fantasy, and with our handle at N2E Fantasy on all social media platforms. Please join our community and give us a follow. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and remember, it's truly never too early for fantasy football. Thank you again.
Bye, everybody.